Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching another edition or listening to another edition of Conquer with Chris, the podcast where we help you overcome in life. Today I have a special guest. I have JS. Now, our connection is through another guy, but we won't talk about him today because hopefully he'll be on another episode. But this guy is innovative. He comes up with new and variant ways to build your success online. Ladies and gentlemen, JS. Welcome to the show, sir.
Well, hello, Chris. Thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate that. And your invitees, I guess I should say, I'm very honored to be part of this. Thank you so much for having me.
So you've been in the digital marketing space for a little while now. Tell the people, one, how you got there, and then how you developed over time.
Well, first, I started in 2015, actually December. It was actually even more precisely on December 26th or 25th, that just around Christmas, right? So I was just home and I was doing things. I was looking online. I was actually trying to build my network marketing business. I'd been in MLM for years, since the 90s, the beginning 90s. And I always thought it was a great business model, right? And for me, it was like, I don't really want to be going out there talking to people. And that's the thing I found that I just couldn't do. So I was actually looking for a way to build my network marketing business online. So I found this guy he's still doing lots of stuff online. He's amazing. He teaches lots of stuff. He teaches how to approach people, how to build business online, all this stuff. And I was like super excited about it. And eventually, actually what happened is that in the beginning, he sent me these emails every day, right? This free thing. I was like, oh, cool. This is cool. Looking at the next email, right? And then after a week or two, I forget how long it was, but then he sent me this email about this system that taught everything to him. And he's like, this system, have you ever heard of this? And he goes, and I'm like, I don't know. So I click the thing, right? I go through this process and I'm like, oh my God, that's exactly what I need. I need to learn all this stuff. And if you don't know what this is about, network marketing, bringing that online is all about attraction marketing, personal branding, blogging, Facebook ads, social media platform, all this stuff, right? So I was super excited to learn all that. So I started that. And since then I've been learning, and that's where I'm at today. I'm not in network marketing anymore, but I do lots of different online things. So I've learned lots of things. So yeah, that's kind of how it started.
So what character traits or what things kind of keep you sane? Because like you can get down so many different rabbit holes, right? That you never come up. You become a crazed. I think about the professor from Doc from Back to the Future, right? You come to this crazed professor who's almost on the verge of being a lunatic, right? So if you follow all these rabbit trails, so for you, what is it that keeps you sane, and what keeps you on path to growing and actually having a business?
Well, that's a really great question, because why would you think I'm sane? I'm not sane. but seriously, you're right. There's so much stuff. And even me, if I look back a little bit more, I've been an entrepreneur. I've always had the entrepreneur mindset since I was in my teens or late teens, right? Or even before that, probably. But I mean, I remember, when I first got into computers and things like that, I had a friend that was in the stock market, and we wanted to do all sorts of crazy things with the stock market, get investors, and oh my God, it was totally insane. And when I first started in computers, I started my own business from a software I built, and I found somebody to partner with, and we started this business. Actually got all the way to like a valuation of about 20 million before we had to shut down. But it was a ride, right? And today I guess maybe what keeps me going, what keeps me sane, if you will, is just realizing that how you get results is not about necessarily specific things, although there are things that give you better results than others. But one of the main things that gets you results is consistency, persistency, and keep going. Even if things don't seem to be working, right? It's all about, you just got to go. You got to keep going. You got to keep going. And me, I'm doing these things, I'm learning these different things, and I don't have, 40 hours a week to work on it. I mean, I have a family, I have a day job. I got to go to bed, I got to work out, I got to take care of the kids, all these things. So there's not that many hours in the week, right? So if I kind of realize that there's only X amount of time a week for me to do this, which actually is not very much, I know that it'll take a while. So if I get discouraged by that, I would have quit a long time ago, right? So if I just remember that there is a light at the end of the tunnel if you're consistent and you're persistent.
Man, if I could get $1 for everyone that I've interviewed that said consistent and persistent, I'd be a millionaire.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think the other thing to marry with that, though, is knowing when to pivot, right? Knowing
that's for sure.
when a platform's oversaturated, knowing when strategy is overused, and knowing how to change that strategy up, make it fresh, so you're
Yeah,
not the one beating the drum. If everyone's beating the same kind of drum and we're all beating it at the same time, it's not going to have an effect on anybody. But if you
no,
beat
no.
at your own pace and you have a different type of drum, you're going to stick out. And I think that's kind of what you're alluding to is you've got your own way of doing things. And I've always appreciated you because I think we're similar. I think we're both in restaurant business, right?
Well, I was a waiter for maybe 6 months, but that's it.
Oh, okay.
No, I haven't been in restaurant. I think I think I know who you're thinking about, but no, I've always been in computers, programming, that kind of stuff.
You know what? We do share that. I was a student for computer programming for a long
Okay.
time. Never graduated, never got my degree, but love computers, love the thought process.
Yeah.
Computers came out when I was a wee little lad. I remember the Atari 800,
Oh yeah.
1200 XL, Commodore 64, the VIC 20,
Yes.
the PCs, the IBMs, and the Mac. Was the
Yeah.
Macintosh? Yeah,
Yes, the Macintosh.
I remember. I
Yeah.
remember when they all came out. Yeah, kind
Yeah.
of dates me, but
Oh yeah.
I'm
That's
not
okay.
afraid.
I think it's a good thing to have gone through that. It makes us really different than anybody else, right? Today, the kids, they have no clue what it was like before, right? When we
Oh,
think about how our phone is like 5,000 times more powerful than the first computers we had, right?
I don't know if you remember that
Crazy.
when I was a kid, we had walkie talkies, right? That were
Yeah.
about the size of a brick, right? And the only reason why you could hear someone on it is because they were like 10 feet away, right? Now you have a cell phone that's a third of that size, or not even a tenth, maybe,
Yeah.
and you can reach around the world. So,
Yep.
how far we've come in such a short time. But, um, I was playing a little game on my phone the other day, and I realized the game was over. And I just kind
Mm.
of feel like sometimes this is a personal realization. I'm
Yeah.
not trying to make anyone feel bad, but as I've gotten older, I've realized that life's really short.
Yeah.
And like it's like that game, right? You're playing, and all of a sudden you run out of moves, and your time's up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
It's
I'm not
time.
saying my time's up by anyone's, but I'm just
Mm.
saying is you just realize that every moment's precious. And
That's
um,
for sure.
I really like what you said. You said you only have X number of hours to get this done for your business, even though it's
Mm.
important because you want to use it as leverage to free yourself up. But you
Yeah.
realize that you got to take care of the kids, you got to get in shape, you got to work on this, work on that, have time with your wife if you want that relationship to continue to be a thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
That's
it's
for
all
sure. Yeah.
important,
All important.
So
Mm.
uh, one of the first interviews I did in this season was a guy, and we're talking about juggling hats. You have so many different hats.
Mm.
You're a dad, you're an entrepreneur, you're a husband, you're this. Sometimes you're arts and craft director with your kids, whatever.
Yeah.
So you're juggling
Yeah.
all these hats, right? You're juggling
Yeah.
them, and at the
Yeah.
end of the day is you got to figure out which hats fit and when and how. And to do that, I think takes a little bit. I applaud people like you because you have put the kids and wife to the side and say, I'm just gonna go out and get the money, and then I'll come back. You're doing it. I think is the right way. You're
Mm.
trying to juggle it all
Yeah.
and do everybody right at the same time, and still take care of the future.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. It's not easy, right, to do that.
Usually the easy things never, I mean, the right thing's never the easy thing to do, usually.
Yeah.
But so you come, so tell the people a little bit about your business model, and what you got going on right now.
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, over the last, I'd say over the last year and a half almost now, I've been really focusing on one something more specific, which is course creation. So course creation, course hosting, generating income from online courses. And it's kind of funny because, you know what, I started that before COVID, right? That was like almost a year before COVID. And when March hit, and everywhere started working remotely, everybody started talking about online courses, the e-learning boom and everything else. It's kind of funny because I was already talking about that. I was already in that space, and I saw all the great big leaders, right, like Tony Robbins and Russell Brunson and Dean Graziosi, and I mean all those leaders. They started creating these things to teach people how to take advantage of that space, right? And my excuse for not having $1 million yet is just my time, right? Because for me, if I'm in that space and I'm doing what I can to educate people using daily blogs, I'm doing these 30 or so a minute episodes every day called Course Income Secrets. So if you want to just Google that, you can find that. I'm on episode like 300 and something now, and it's all about what you need to do to take advantage of this crazy opportunity right now. It's, creating a course is one thing, but if you can't generate the interest on if you can't, you don't have an audience for it, if you don't have the ability to do social promoting on it, if you don't understand how to do ads, if you don't understand how to do engagement on social platforms, if you don't understand how to do your email autoresponder, if you don't understand, I mean, blogging even, there's so many things, or content syndication. I mean, that's one of the things we learned together through our mutual friend, right? I mean, he showed us how to do one piece of content and then spit out a bunch of pieces for all the different platforms. And I took it a step further by automating some of that stuff. So those are the things that I'm kind of doing. And even though it looks to an outsider that doesn't understand the space, it looks like I'm all over the place doing all sorts of different things. They really are all tied to one thing. And for me, that one thing is a hosting platform that I'm building. That platform, Click eCourse, so CLICKECOURSE.com. So clickecourse.com. So that site is a site where everything I do comes to. So for example, if I do a training on how to do Aweber integration with WordPress, well, I'm going to put the training on that site. I might give it away for free, I might sell it, but it's going to be on that site. So anybody who is in my space ends up on that site either by because they want to see a course, because they want to have their own course on the site, because they want to have their WordPress blog, because they want to have syndication engine. All these things are all tied to that, right? So that's kind of what I'm working on. Recently, I started something new, but we'll maybe talk about that after. I'll take a breath and let you jump in.
Well, listen, it's great. I've kind of watched you, and always like listening to you when we were on different webinars and different trainings and stuff. It was always fun. I usually lurked in the background quite a bit. I didn't come out and talk too much because, just because I felt I was always a student. I was always there to learn, and I didn't feel I bought the lie for a long time that I didn't have anything to give, right?
Okay.
And so now my thing is, as everyone here is aware, podcasting. I'm going to be huge in podcasting. That's kind of where I'm building my cornerstone.
Awesome.
Kind of like that content syndication thing. I'm doing reverse, or what's great about that whole thought process is with content syndication, you can pick any one of those things and then do everything else off of that. For example, you took a picture and put it on Instagram, you can take and write a story about what that picture is about and make a blog out of it. And then create a video about what the experience was of writing the blog, so it's different than the blog, and put it on YouTube. Strip the audio off of YouTube and put it into a podcast.
Exactly.
I just choose to use the podcast and video format first, and then My show notes will be my blog.
Great.
And so, yeah, 70 different pieces of content from one is always the goal.
Yeah. 70 or 100, right? Whatever.
Who's counting after you get past like 65? It doesn't really matter.
That's right. Yeah.
So, I had a question for you, and I lost it.
Oh, no. That's what happens when I talk too much, right?
No, not you. It's probably me. I went on a tangent there. But I think it's important that people understand that I believe last time I saw, I want to say Forbes magazine said the e-training, the e-course is $74 billion industry.
I know, right?
And this is 2021, so we can kind of date it. Late January, $74 billion industry. You should be a part of it.
Yeah.
You should. And when I say you, I'm not talking about JS here. This guy's going to have a part. He's building up his whole platform and everything. I'm talking about you who's listening to the podcast or watching the podcast. You need to be a part. You have something you can teach. Well, I'm not that technical savvy. Great. Teach on something. Woodworking. I'd love to see some woodworking. There's lots of woodworking. You know, another thing that's huge is also the RVing, the camping industry. There's a lot of people doing that full time. Right.
Yeah.
So the singing, how to sing properly. I mean, there's nothing that you can't do a video on. There's some things we don't want to see videos on, but most anything you can do a video on, training people how to.
Yeah.
So you're transitioning. You got a new business coming out.
Yes.
And it's doing what?
Well, it's kind of, I guess the connectivity between what I'm doing and this is basically because I'm going to be teaching this new business venture. I'm actually going to be teaching people how to do it themselves. And it's going to become a course, right? It's going to become a course, a masterclass, a 5-day session, that kind of stuff. But the actual topic is building your own software business from scratch with no technical knowledge, no programmer knowledge, no knowledge of hiring anybody. And it's using it's something really amazing that everybody uses today, Chrome extensions. So in your browser, you can do a gazillion things by just adding these little extensions with a tiny little piece of software. You can get your own piece of software, and you can do that for like $100. I'm actually doing that right now. I'm going through the process myself. I'm learning from an expert that's been doing it for years, and she's showing me all the ropes, all the steps. And I actually even had a conversation with her asking her, is it okay if I teach this too? And she's like, go right ahead. I believe in, the abundance mindset. She's got the same mindset as me. It's all about you give and give and give. It doesn't matter how many. It's not like any customers that will learn from me is stealing from her. That's great. That's the mindset I have too, right? So for me, and that's what I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to be building that, and I'm going to be turning this tiny little piece of software that's going to cost me $100 to get done into a piece of software that people are going to be paying $5, $10, $20 a month to use, even though there's, and this is and I'm sorry I'm getting all excited about this, but I mean, one of the things is that lots of people will tell me, well, why would you pay for that? If like there's so many extensions that are free, why would you pay for it? Well, because why do you pay for anything in life? You pay for stuff because you want it to be working. You want to get support. You want to have a version that they're actually going to be around in 5 years or 2 years or whenever it is that all of a sudden the browser changes and you need an update, right? Whereas you get those free ones, they might break things. They might have a Trojan horse in them. They might have all these different things.
Or going back to what we first studied, the platform that we both learned off of is build the trust, know, and like factors, right?
As well. That's
they trust you.
Exactly. That's one of the big pluses of learning attraction marketing and personal branding, because you might not have any audience, you might not have anybody, and you can build this software by leveraging other people's audiences, right? So for me, for example, right now being in Chris's podcast here, I mean, I'm leveraging his audience. Obviously it's not a stealing thing, but he's doing that because he wants his audience to broaden their knowledge, right? So if you're listening to this right now and you're taking advantage of learning from me, learning from Chris, and learning from all the other interviewees that he's going to bring into his show. That's part of growing an audience, right? So me, I might build a software. I might have an audience of 1,500 here and 5,000 there and 20,000 there and whatever, and I might be able to bring that to them. And the percentage of them have been following me long enough that they're going to, like Chris says, they're going to trust me. It's the know, like, trust factor that you build in personal branding, and they're going to buy it. They're going to pay the $10 a month or whatever it is that I'm going to sell it for, right? And by the way, if you're listening to this right now, I actually have, I don't know if it's okay for me to kind of promote myself there more, Chris. Yeah, okay. So I actually have a promotion right now that I'm going through, that I'm going to give away whatever plugin I create if you give me your idea for a plugin. So if you give me your either an idea for a plugin, or maybe you give me the plugin you like the most, I've got that right now. You go to a site, you just put your name and email, and you send me what you want, and then you're going to get that for free. So the site is social elite software. So socialelitesw.com. So you just go there and you just put your email in there, and then you'll be in the list. If you go there whenever you're listening to this, it depends on when you see this. Obviously the site will tell you, right? But the thing is that instead of paying $30 a month, you'll get this plugin for free. And that's my way of thanking you for giving me, ideas. And if you're interested in building your own, it'll be the same thing. Go ahead and reach out, and I'm going to be putting on some free 5-day sessions. I'm also going to be having a mastermind. All these different things are going to be coming.
Wow.
Yeah.
Everyone take advantage of that. The link will be in the show notes and in the description. It'll also be on the page at the bottom of the screen. We'll put that up there.
Perfect.
During editing. Just thank you so much for being on. I was just thinking, there's so many different things that you could have as an extension, a plug-in, whatever. It would be phenomenal for you to have your own plug-in, your own whatever. So wow.
And let me add one. Sorry, Chris. Let me just add one other thing. The other thing I hear a lot of is people saying, "Well, I don't know what plugins. What if why not? You can do a plugin that already exists, and it becomes your plugin instead of the other guy's plugin. Even if it does the exact same thing, it still could be a great idea. You just have to look there. Anyways, there's a whole bunch of things, and that's the stuff I'm going to be teaching, is how to figure out your idea, how to find your developer, how to get it done, how to get it published. All these things are going to be taught.
Wow, that's great. I want to thank JS for being on today. Listen, please hit the like, share, and subscribe button. Once again, we want you to overcome in life. Thank you so much. This is Chris Collier. Have a great day.